Wagwan, everyone. I hope you're doing well and welcome back to another stream. Apologies for the lateness. It's all me. It's not Edmin himself. And speaking of Edmin, do you know what, people? I've just given away the special guest, the prize, the one that you've all been missing, and I'll bring him in right now. Giving it away. There you are. Edmin is back. How are you, bro?
Not too bad. Good evening. Christmas Eve. What's not to like?
Oh, yes. How did I forget about that? It is Christmas Eve. Anyone's watching, this is the last one, the last show on Tereak Talks before Christmas. So if you are watching now, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. And I won't say New Year's because you'll see me on Boxing Day. But how's the Christmas shopping been for you, bro?
That's all done. All done.
There you go.
All done. But TCM sorts out most of it. I only really have to sort hers out. So
there you go. You sorted them.
Difficult. Not that difficult for me.
Exactly. Yeah, that was probably all sorted before I even turned 23. But before I do that, before I go into it, what did we hit? Ed? Tell him.
We got to 250 before Christmas.
Exactly. And that is all because of you guys. And just speaking of you guys, let's get chatting to you now. So we got Guess Who's Back. Pick up yourself, Casey. Nice seeing you in here, Moss. G Staffy herself with hello, early people. G Staffy nice and early. We got Know How. Casey's back. Tell a friend. Early people. Blessings to you too, Know How. Thank you very much for coming in. Tishi M herself. We've got PM in the building. Steve Stone. We got my boy S. Give all the love to Mrs. S as well, Steve. And yes, I can't wait. Christmas PM. We have to get in the Discord set and the present that he's got. Yeah, I'm not exposing it because she might be watching, she might be there. So I can't say anything. Not she, he. That's it. We got Mama G in the place as well. We've got, and there we go. And then we've got Hi Tereak and Ed. Congrats. Thank you very much. And drive back to the office with TTF. Guys, get your comments in, get your predictions in because you know what it is. It is the Premier League preview. I've had to change the thumbnail because the Liverpool Leeds game has been postponed. So, should we get started and get going?
Yeah.
Let's go in nice and quickly. That 2 minutes, 45 seconds is not that quick. But here we go. There we go.
Well, there's the predictions.
There's spoiling it already. 1 week out and then we're in trouble. But here we go, Ed. Ed, give me the stats and figures for Burnley versus Everton at Turf Moor.
Yeah, so Burnley versus Everton, one of the oldest fixtures in football. First one was in 1888, I found out doing the research for this, for you stats fans. So the last 5 meetings between these two teams have got 2 wins for both teams and a draw in the middle. The form for both teams, Burnley, it's a lot of Ds, four draws and an L. And then Everton, 3 losses, a draw and a win. And if we go to what I love, the XG, you can barely put a fag paper between the two teams, what they're expected to score. 1.33 for Burnley and 1.34 for Everton, with the average goals of 2.48. So the stats are heavily towards a 1-1 or pushing maybe a 2-1 win to either side with this one.
Oh, interesting right there. So there's Ed bringing the stats for you. And let me just let you know, guys, because I haven't got a visual for the injuries and suspensions, because when I was sorting it out, I was like, okay, I can't be. There was a lot of 50-50s. Ed, thank you for doing it. I will bring them to you. But because the games are 3 days away now, and 3 days in this current world is a long time. But I will say them for you for the guys who want to know in particular for FPL reasons. So for Burnley, in terms of their injuries and doubts, we've got Dale Stevens and Maxwell Cornet, who are both doubts for Burnley, and then we have Connor Roberts and Ashley Barnes, who we know will be out. So Ashley Barnes and Connor Roberts being out for Burnley, and for Everton we have Richarlison, who's out. Dominic Calvert-Lewin may make his first appearance since I can't remember. This is where commentators would usually know, wouldn't they, Ed?
Yeah. Has he played a game this season?
Yes, he played at the start.
Right,
I remember him scoring a penalty against Leeds at Ellen Road. I think he scored a couple. Yeah, but he has played a game this season. But he'll be back for a long time. I can tell you that, probably since September. Anyone know in the chat? Let me know, please, on that. I'll bring the predictions up so you know which game we're talking about, just in case. Well, you see it in the banner anyway. We've got Luca Dean, who's also a 50-50. He may be in, maybe out. But we know that Tom Davies is out, Yerry Mina, Andros Townsend, Salomon Rondon, Damari Gray, and Fabian Delph. So the injury list for Everton is ever growing. And Ed, I think XG's affected and impacted your prediction for this game. Tell me the reason why you've gone for a 1-1 draw.
Well, I think if the form for Burnley said a lot of draws, bringing that back up there. I think Everton, my prediction was based on when I did that research. There was a lot of buzz around Dominic Calvert-Lewin being available. Because if not, I don't know who's actually going to score that goal for Everton. So it was in between a Burnley win and a draw. But you know me, I went with what the XG was telling me, and I went with a 1-1. I think both teams probably could do with a win. You know, obviously you always want to win, but these games around Christmas, if you get a couple of wins or surprise wins or whatever you want to call it, all of a sudden you can jump up. And obviously Burnley are not in a great place at the minute, and Everton are. They're a really interesting team to not necessarily to watch, but to see what happens in their games this season. Yeah. So I went for a 1-1, based really on Dominic Calvert-Lewin being back to pop up with a goal or some kind of goal involvement.
Hey, that's putting a lot of faith in Calvert-Lewin, just like Casey's here.
Mm-hmm.
DCL's available for this match. PM has also said, Mr. 200 himself has gone with DCL, so he's going for an Everton 2-1 win. Steve's gone with a tough call for this match, 1-0. Moss gone with a 1-1, similar to you, Ed, following the XG there. Hey, Moss, you got close this week with the Arsenal-Sunderland one, but hey, Moss, your predictions have been close.
Don't bring that up.
Oh, sorry, I know.
That was painful. I felt for you, Chris. I felt for you, Moss.
Paxton's gone with DCL Brace. So everyone's really backing Everton here now. Their last game was against Chelsea, was it, I believe, Ed?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and it was that draw. So people really backing them, and Burnley's form hasn't been great. I know they lost to Newcastle as well. For me, the reason why I've gone with the Burnley win is I think it's probably putting too much pressure on Dominic Calvert-Lewin to come back straight away and score after being out for such a long time. I don't think he'll start. And if he does start, he'll get 45 to 60 minutes max. And Burnley at home are generally a very good side. This is why Burnley stay up, because at their home record, they are very difficult to play against. Especially with these type of teams, with Everton and the injury list for Everton. I believe that Rafa should stay because I like Rafa Benitez. He's a very experienced manager who can get the best out of a squad that he can work with. I believe he does do that. And once he starts getting players back fit, he said it in his press conferences. I can't even get my words out. Sorry, people. Okay, Christmas time, innit?
Been on the Baileys. He's on the Baileys.
I have actually had one. But I just think that he will grow, and that team will grow, and you'll see a better team in the second half of the season. Kind of like what we saw with the second half of last season for Arsenal. And when they start getting their players back. So, yeah, I believe that they will lose this one. Burnley will take this. So I've gone with a 2-1 win.
There's the TTF seem to be back in Everton. Burnley, like you say, Turf Moor, it's always a big call to go against them getting anything up there. But, yeah, I agree with you just quickly on the Rafa thing.
Yeah.
Tried and tested in this league at different levels. I don't see a better manager out there for them yet either. So I just don't know why you wouldn't let him right the ship, get some of those players back and see where they're going to be.
There you go. Exactly that. And we'll go into the next game now, which is Manchester City versus Leicester. If you are watching as well afterwards, people, please do get your predictions in the comment section. If you are new, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And what will happen is in the review, we'll give you guys a shout out as well for your correct results. So
Definitely.
yes, people, please go and do that. But we're talking about the Manchester City Leicester one. Ed, hit us and take us away with the facts and figures for this game at the Etihad Stadium.
So for Man City versus Leicester, we've got quite a pretty pattern here for these two teams. So Man City have won 3, and Leicester have punctuated those with a couple of wins themselves. Their form, Man City, I'm wearing out the W on this keyboard for Man City and Liverpool this year. We've got 4 wins there. The loss there was the Champions League game against Leipzig, I think, from memory. Tereak will know that better than me. He's better with the midweek games than I am.
Correct.
And Leicester here have got 2 wins, 2 draws, and 2 wins, 2 losses, and a draw. What's different on Tereak Talks in terms of form, just quickly, is that we always include cup games, Champions League, that ridiculous Europa League conference or whatever it is that Leicester are in or what are in now or whatever. So we always go with the last 5 games that the team's been playing. And for those that care about this XG like me, Man City, as always, one of the biggest expected goals for the week on 2.68. Leicester is actually quite low at 1.22. And the goals expected go very much with the XG, expecting 3.25 goals for this game.
There you go. There you go. Right there and then. Talking about Man City Leicester. Ed's brought you the stats and figures, and I've just seen something here. I've just seen where this is what I wanted to know how we'll get to the prediction table. Be careful. Shouldn't listen to him, lol. he's probably got a point. We'll see. We'll see how far bottom I am.
No, it's not predictions. I think all 3 of the contestants of the TTF us. We tend to get the results right, but it's when you get those cheeky 3 points for getting it spot on. That's the kicker.
Yeah, there you go. And big up yourself as well, Josh. Nice seeing you there. And then Moss is there talking about, big Charlie Patino, so he's happy. He's happy to take that one. But yes, in terms of the injuries for Manchester City, injuries and suspensions, Ferran Torres, who is going to Barcelona.
How?
How are
they paying for that?
With what money? See, if this is Barcelona broke with 1 point, how much billion in debt, and they're still splashing 55 million on players in January.
I don't get it. Football is weird. Football and money is weird. I don't understand it.
He's played 43 games for Manchester City, and they've made about 30 plus million profit on him. So that's ridiculous. And
it's all right, isn't it?
Yeah. And he's been injured for most of the season. Carl Walker remains out. Is that due to disciplinary issues, Ed?
I think so. There was the website that I got all the stuff from. It was obviously him and Mendy. Mendy's very different.
Mm-hmm. Mendy's out.
We don't need to talk about that. But yeah, his were both down as unknown for other reasons. So I'd imagine that is disciplinary.
Exactly. And then what we do know for Leicester in terms of guarantees being out, Wesley Fofana, Johnny Evans, James Justin, Hamza Chowdhury, they're all out guaranteed. Filip Benkovic is a doubt. And the 50-50s, which is going to be interesting. I know Sionchi played against Liverpool yesterday, as well as Jamie Vardy. And I'm not sure if Ricardo Pereira did, but they're all 50-50s and touch and go whether they'll start. For me, that's made a big difference in terms of my predictions. But before we go into mine and Ed's, I'm going to have a look at some predictions in the chat right now. So Josh has gone 3-0 Leicester.
It's out there.
Big up yourself, Josh, man.
Put 50p on it. You can probably buy a house. I reckon the odds you get on that.
Tell me about it. I think Josh meant 3-0 Man City like Paxton. But also PM's gone with 3-0 City, 4-1 City, says know-how. 3. Oh yeah, there we go. I knew he. And Munzi says they should rename Ed Stato.
That's right, Edmin, remember?
Edmin. Works out all the numbers, all the stats, all the things behind the scenes. There you are, T. Thought it was just Ed today for a set. Lol. No, don't worry. I'm sure you was getting all happy, and then you saw my face and got disappointed. Don't worry, you wouldn't be the first person.
It's Brush. It'll just be me when I'm talking 90s football. That's
there you go. Yeah, that I was a senior.
You're a twinkle.
Exactly. Great question about. Okay.
We'll get to that. I want to pick up on that maybe before the next one. Moss has asked a good question here.
Okay, there we go.
So let's get through this, and then I'll pick that back up for you.
3-1 City, says Steve. 5-0 City, says Jamie. Big up yourself. Edwin van der Stat. So Ed, have you gone for a Leicester win?
Well, you're asking me. I think I did it this morning.
Nah, I've got it right here. Don't worry.
I think I went City win.
Nah, he did go for a City win. He's gone for a lot closer than me, as you can see, guys. Tell me your reasons why.
I don't know, because Brendan Rodgers is a bottle job, and I'm starting to worry about whether I should have done that. I think Brendan Rodgers is the kind of bloke who'd eat his Christmas dinner and finish halfway through and think it's done. But yeah, so I just thought I saw Leicester maybe picking up a goal in a. When you picture how the games go, I was expecting Man City to be up quite comfortably. And then right towards the end of the game, James Maddison or someone pulls out a worldie, West Ham style. So yeah, I was going with quite a. Pep was going to just take Boxing Day a little bit easy, foot off the gas kind of thing, and just sort of coast through the game.
Yeah, to be honest, Ed, and guys in the chat, I think you probably agree with me. I think even City coasting will easily ship 3 past Leicester. This Leicester defence is awful because let's not forget. Liverpool, with a much changed squad, with 3 academy players, 5 on the bench, still went and slapped 3 goals against them. So, for me, I think it's a Man City hammering 5-0 win for sure. You
got 4. You got 4. Is it 4 or 5?
4. I'm going 4 people. 4-4.
I have to keep my spreadsheet updated. Don't start changing things.
4-0 win. And I just saw Jamie's. That's one. I thought I was just thinking of that one. But the reason why Man City are a machine at the moment. They're scoring plenty of goals, and the striker talk. Hey, I did think it would probably fade out. They probably wouldn't need it in the end with how City play. They've got so many goals spread around the pitch. You don't need a number 9 to score you 20 plus goals when you've got like loads of players that can score you 10. Do you know what I mean? So with City, I just think they'll breeze past Leicester in this one. Brendan Rodgers, you know my thoughts. I think very overrated. Bottle job, it's proving it. Hugely, I think when I thought that and when I was saying it, it wasn't popular at a time because there was a lot of Arsenal fans saying we should get Brendan Rodgers. And there's what Jamie's saying right there. Brendan Rodgers will give a speech about how good Christmas dinner is, and that will be his team talk exactly. And yeah, if his dinner has great character, then he's happy though, isn't he? So Man City win 4-0 for me, and yeah, I think a lot of the chat has gone for 3s, 4s, and some 5s.
Yeah,
so,
The majority have gone for 3-0 to City. I think.
Yeah, so I think you're following a bit of XG there, but hey, he might be right. There's a reason why. Well, we'll get into that at the end. We'll get into that.
So the question from Moss was, which I think, guys, if you haven't watched the debate that Tereak and Rich Eagle Eye Football hosted a couple of days ago, I really do suggest you go back and watch it. It was really, really, really proper football chat. But it's this question: how come we never know what team or what players have COVID? And throwing in some dirty Leeds there. Maybe Leeds probably did it on purpose. I must admit, I got tired typing out their injury list this morning when I was doing it. So.
Oh man. But it's a very good question. And this is what I think Brush answered this as well. We're talking about players' confidentiality, keeping it private at some point. And I do. And you know what? Brush puts a very good answer when he answered it. So, yeah, I would recommend to go and watch it back if anyone is it that Moss. I know you was watching it. You was there. But for me, I think that they should allow people to find that because they're going to find out anyway. So what's the point? Is it a bit of mind games that teams are trying to play, managers, in terms of knowing what if like Antonio's out, are you going to let it be known before so Spurs can set up in a different way? So in the Carabao Cup, I think that's probably the biggest reason. So it doesn't really affect too much, but I think the game, everybody knows so much now. Speaking about Leeds, when you got people that watch training grounds and stuff. Yeah. You got drones that fly all over the place.
I think for football, slightly different to like the NBA, for example, like Moss said, there is the NBA have a roster of 15.
Yeah.
Whereas obviously with football, you have 25 in your squad plus all your under 23. So the difference with the NBA is that realistically, if 4 or 5 are out, you kind of already know the players that you're going to be able to be picked. So you'll have scouting reports for them.
Yeah.
And I think it was touched on in your last stream that we talked about is that realistically, teams are going to try and find an advantage where they can, aren't they? And if they've got 4 or 5 under 23s that maybe sometimes make the bench, they're going to start counting them, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're going to start counting them to say, well, we've also got 9 players that are also injured, like Leeds, that are injured legitimately, not through illness. So if they'd rather play that game when all of their players are available, they're going to try it, aren't they? And they're not being told to tell people who's got it. So they'll find a way.
And this is what Jamie's saying. Leave have no more players out, but they don't want to get smashed by Liverpool. Hey, there you go. He was getting ready. You saw the previous title. I was saying Liverpool to smash Leeds as I expected. So yeah, it is an interesting topic. But we'll move on into the next game now. In terms of predictions, and it is Norwich versus Arsenal. So people, get your predictions in as Ed is bringing in the stats for this game at Carroll Road for my team, my boys, my Gunners away from home. Hit me, Ed.
So for the last 5 meetings between these teams, there's been 4 wins for Arsenal and a draw in the middle of all of those. Norwich's form is not great. 3 losses and 2 draws. And Arsenal's is great with 4 wins and just that 1 loss. Surprising, despite obviously the goal fest that they had in the week. Arsenal's XG is 1.38 to Norwich's 1.09, and the average goals very much reflects that, with expecting it to be 2.5 goals. So between 2-0, 1-1, and 2-1, anywhere in between that is the expectations for this game. I find this quite surprising. The XG, maybe Arsenal's league form is that maybe some of their goals aren't necessarily tap-ins, which is what gets your XG up. So maybe that's why.
Yeah, it's true. But you know what? I think it's probably because XG must be looking into the fact that we played Leeds. And I'm trying to think who else. We played West Ham before that. We had a few chances. We were the better team, but you wouldn't say that we had like raining shots on their goal. And we don't really tend to do that. But thankfully, our players generally, when Aubameyang hasn't played, we've been clinical in front of goal. But let's talk about the Norwich's injury list, which is quite mad, by the way. Another long one.
It is.
Ed had to write. Zimmerman's out. Andrew Omabamidele. There we go. Andrew Omabamidele's out. Milot Rashika's out. Ozan Kabach is out. Matthias Norman's out. Grant Hanley is also out. And then Josh Sargent is out. Pierre Lees Melu is out. So, and then they've got 2 players that are touch and go in Christos Solis and Lucas Rupp, who was very good in their last game against Manchester United. And then for Arsenal, as far as we know so far, all we know is that Saif Kolasinac is out, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is also out, and Takahiro Tomiyasu is a doubt. It's 50-50, I'd say, more touch and go. So we'll have to see how, because he came off against Leeds with a calf injury, but look at the chat already, man. Going in for Arsenal wins. What did we have? We had 4-0.
Yeah, 4-0 from Unknown Sea. Paxton, as always, putting the scorers in. And Martinelli and Saka, 2-0 Norwich, 2-0 Arsenal.
Going with Martinelli to, carry on his goal scoring run. Hopefully. He's been playing the month shot if he carries on like that. We've got 4-0 Arsenal from PM. 3-1. Everyone's going for an Arsenal win. And then this is it now. I like this from Steve. Going a bit more pragmatic. And do you know what, Steve? This is the reason why I like this, because it's exactly the same as mine. Basically, Ed, just to tell you a quick one, me and Steve, we were holding out for finishing the Europa League, European football, Champions League up until the end. We had that little bit of hope. But now, last season's burnt us so much, we'll be a bit more pragmatic when it comes to the Arsenal. But yeah, but for obvious reasons. But yes, I've gone with a 2-1 Arsenal win. And the reason I've done that is mainly because I think that we'll score. But Norwich have looked decent in their recent games. going forward. Man United, they were the much better side. I think they'll probably sneak one in, maybe from a set piece or something like that. Because I don't think Ben White in recent games against Leeds, he gave that stupid penalty away. And then Sunderland, I don't think he was the best defender. I thought Rob Holding was the best defender in that game. Dealt with a lot of situations, put out quite a bit of fires. So for me, I think Norwich might nick one. But why have you gone with an Arsenal clean sheet? Sorry,
because I don't see Norwich nicking one. It's probably the opposite. I just see this as a. I almost put 3-0. To be honest, I was in between for this one. I've been impressed with Arsenal the last few weeks. I was impressed with how seriously they're taking the League Cup. I was impressed with some of the youngsters that are playing, and I think players like Saka, players like Martinelli, they're just going to absolutely run riot against a team like Norwich, who still look like a Championship team. I just think there's too much quality. There's too much. There's only probably after Phil Foden, probably Bukayo Saka is probably my favourite young English player to watch. I just love how forward thinking he is.
Direct.
And I just think Arsenal are just probably going to have too much. And like you said, Norwich played well against Man United and still lost. And that's what bad teams do. They can look good for a bit and still lose.
It's very true.
I just don't have any faith in them.
Hey, we need to keep this run going. We need to keep it going. Improve our away record thanks to Leeds. We got our first win back in 3 games. I think we went 3 games without a win. But now hopefully we can kick it on. And then is that game going to even happen on the 28th?
Well, who knows? Who knows right now, right? We're all in the lap of like what we've been talking about. Yeah. What players get classed as
I know it'd have been
affected.
The TTF derby right here, but hey, we'll have to. But hopefully,
see that's the thing, with the Wolves game being off.
Yeah.
From the stuff that I've read, I don't see Wolves as having that many issues. We've got a couple.
Oh, okay.
And one of them is injured anyway. Yerson Mosquera.
Oh, okay.
So I think it might be more the Watford side. So
yeah, true. I think the Palace game had to get called off because of Watford, though, wasn't it?
And
hey, by the way, people, Ed said that he doesn't see Norwich scoring, and if you follow the TTF, you'll know that's not a good omen. No.
That means Moss put some money on Norwich at least getting one, I'd suggest.
Yeah, now Ed said they're not scoring, but we'll move on into the next game, and that is the other team in North London who are playing at home against big fans' favourite in here, but Palace are streaming, so it makes sense that we don't have any Palace fans as of yet. So Spurs versus Palace. What is, Ed, the stats and figures for this game at Tottenham Stadium?
So in the last 5 meetings, Palace and Spurs split the fixtures last year within 1 game each. Then there's been a couple of draws and then 1 more win for Spurs. The form, I don't remember the last time Spurs played, apart from obviously this week. This was done before the Carabao Cup game, so they won in midweek. There's a draw, 2 losses and 2 wins. And Palace's form is not quite what it has been, with 3 losses, a draw and a win. And if you watch these previews, like you say, normally we've got some Palace fans on. But I think Eagle Eye Football is streaming right now, so that's probably affecting that. Their form has dipped an awful lot because before there was a lot of shouts of Patrick Vieira of manager of the season so far and those types of things. So the XG for Spurs is 1.32, which for a Conte side seems a little low for me. And Palace is just over 1 at 1.08, with the average goals just under 3 at 2.79. So if we go with the XG, you're looking at a 1-1, and the average goals is pushing between a 1-1 and someone nicking a winner.
There you go. For Spurs and Palace, sorry, people, I was eating. But for Spurs, they only have 3 players that are out, and that is Christian Romero, Ryan Sessegnon, and Brian Hill. So they're starting to get their players back. Just before I even go into Crystal Palace's performance, injuries, what did you think of Spurs, Ed, against Liverpool?
It was a great game, wasn't it? It was a great game. I've always had a soft spot for Dele Alli, so to see him play well was nice personally. I've always liked him. I liked how he played. I like how he takes risks. It was a really, really good game against a Liverpool team that was clearly missing Van Dijk, but it was a really, really good game of football. It was why you like football. I have no dog in that fight, and I couldn't take my eyes off it. It was a great game.
Fortunate in a way, but they deserve at least a draw. They probably should have won it with the amount of chances that they had.
But they obviously got very lucky with the Kane challenge is a red. The Robertson challenge is also a red for me personally. So they should have been both down to 10 men, but obviously the game is very different if Kane goes off when he should have done. And their performance in midweek against West Ham, from what I've seen in the highlights, it seems like a bit of a bitty game. Conte is obviously getting his head around these players, and you've got players like Kane, who's, I don't know what, he's not what he was in terms of last season, but obviously a lot of water under the bridge at the minute with him. So Spurs are in a very strange place, and also, 14 games they've played in the season now. They seem to have loads of games in hand, and I don't always see that as an advantage either. That soon becomes pressure, because everyone goes, well, that's 9 points that you've got over other teams. So,
And then just quickly for Crystal Palace, they have James MacArthur and Nathan Ferguson. James MacArthur's out, Nathan Ferguson's out. But the predictions that so far, Paxton has gone with a 2-1 Spurs win. Son, Brace and Zaha to score. So tight one there. B&B, repping the red and white. 2-0 Palace with Kane with a red and Son to get injured. Was it you, B&B, who said it in the last stream when we did the watch along for the Spurs one? Like, what would you rather take? A Son injury? And I said I'd rather take a Son injury because I thought Liverpool were going to score anyway, and they did. But yeah, I wouldn't mind that. Sorry. I don't mean to wish injury upon anyone. A little hamstring pull, one of them ones. Be out for a few weeks. I missed the Arsenal game in particular, which is coming in January. 1-1 for Conte Spiracy to Vieira. 2-2 right there. So we've got a few draws in the place. Like this, Arsenal fans representing. But yeah, in terms of predictions, well, PM, I think Ed agrees with you right here because he went with a 1-1 draw as well.
Yeah, and Moss.
Oh, yes, and you, Moss, sorry. And what's your reason why that you think Spurs will draw?
I see this game just petering out. I just don't know. I'm not sold fully on how Spurs are under Conte yet, and I see Palace needing a result. So that's why I think I'm leaning towards more that I think Vieira's got to pull something out of the bag, to sort of stabilise where Palace are, because their form is a lot worse than what we've been talking about over the season. So I see this being a draw. I could, if I had to go one way or the other, I'd go with Spurs, but Vieira always does well against Spurs. So
true. Hey, but I need you for this now, because you can be the one that breaks it. I said it was a wonderful saying from Alisson. Steve is still saying, well, there you go, Ed.
Got the goalkeepers are there for a reason, right?
Hey.
I'm not a fan of those types of. Yes, I don't. It's not a sitter. A sitter is an empty net.
Yeah, true.
It's a great save. He's gone for the corner. He's gone too close to the goalkeeper.
I don't even think that. No, that's the only way he can get it in, like from that angle. So,
but it's a bit of a redundant point for me. It's like when people say Kyle Walker can't defend; he just relies on his pace. Why wouldn't he? He's really quick. He's really quick. That's just what he has to do. That's part of his toolkit.
Yeah, he said he did mention he liked Ali. He did mention that he's defended it more than me. But I agree with that though. I don't think Kyle Walker can defend, and he uses his pace because it's different though, because his positioning's not very good. I don't believe. That's why he relies upon his pace. But you can say the same for Wan-Bissaka, and you do get exposed against elite players though. I believe if they're on form, like Wan-Bissaka's been exposed now. Kyle Walker has had torrid times against the likes of Ousmane Dembele. I'll never forget that performance. This was internationally. Did you watch that, Ed?
No,
the game
I don't think I did.
Is against France. Oh my days! Ousmane Dembele, when his hamstrings aren't made of cheese strings, he blew Kyle Walker, and Kyle Walker couldn't catch him. He's that fast, and Kyle Walker's probably faster than like most of the players.
Yeah.
So yeah. So that's why I still believe that. But hey, Steve, it's a good debate, man. It's good. I like it. Big up yourself as well, Roland. Pros Only TV. Go and subscribe to that. Talksport is just as bad as Spurs. But yeah, I went for a Spurs win. I think they'll just edge it. I think Palace's down form will continue, unfortunately. So yeah, I just think that's the Spurs will win. I'm not going to go too much into that. Conte's really got him ticking at the moment, unfortunately.
He's a much better manager as well, let's face it. He's an upgrade on what they had before. And I'm a big Nuno fan, so...
and for you to say that, now take a big deep breath and swallow. But let's move on into the next game. The team that Spurs did beat in midweek, and that is West Ham versus Southampton. Ed, stats and figures for this one, for the game at the London Stadium.
Yeah, so the last 5 meetings between these two teams is 3 wins for West Ham, with a couple of draws thrown in there as well. Their form, again, this is without West Ham's loss as well on Wednesday to Spurs. So realistically for Spurs, it's three losses, 2 draws, and a win in the last 6 games. And Southampton's is 3 draws and a couple of losses as well. There's a lot of teams with a lot of draws in their form at the moment. And for West Ham, Southampton, the XG, the stats that Paxton's not a big fan of. West Ham is XG is 1.63, Southampton's is 1.25. But the average goals, which is based on how the teams are playing and their form, rather than just the chances created, is actually looking at this game being a 3-goal thriller. So, if you go with the XG doesn't match what the average goal statos are expecting.
There you go, XG. Well, there you go. And in terms of injuries for West Ham, they got Kurt Zuma's out. Soufal is suspended. Mikel Antonio is a doubt because David Moyes did say that he had COVID last week. And he was about 7 days. So he still might be past fit. And you know how the rules have changed in the UK. Mm-hmm. If you do test positive, but you test negative on day 6 and 7, you'll be okay to carry on and live life as normal. Or relatively. Aaron Cresswell's a doubt. He's remained a doubt. He's picked up that injury and he hasn't played since Man City, that back injury. So that must have been worse than first feared because he's been a doubt for a while. Angelo Agbona is the last player for West Ham to remain out. And for Southampton, Alex McCarthy's out. Fraser Forster's also out, which means Willie Caballero will have to still deputise in goal. Adam Armstrong, touch and go, whether he's going to play. The same with his namesake, Stuart Armstrong. However, Che Adams is also out. So a few injuries there for both sides. But, hey, I think this is impacted for why you've gone for a 0-0 draw. Tell me why, then we'll go into your predictions, TTF. So
I just saw this game as sort of being a game of midfield battles. I didn't see Antonio is a big doubt. Che Adams is still a doubt. I don't rate Southampton very much personally, and I think West Ham. I think as B&B has said about the West Ham rot, they're not in a great form, reign of form at the minute. Jarrod Bowen, or Arjun Bowen, as we probably should call him, is a great player and potentially the difference maker for me. But I've gone for a 0-0, just thinking that this sort of might be a bit of a dirge battle. I think Southampton are trying to drag out whatever they can to get points at the minute, and they may stink up the place a little bit.
Oh, okay. And then Steve's also said, you know what, West Ham are struggling at the moment, but he expects a comeback win, going for a 2-1 win. B&B's gone for a 2-2 draw for the rot to continue. Moss agreeing with me. Great minds think alike, as well as Paxton. Yes, I'll just get into that, but he's gone with a bow and brace. Interesting there. Antonio in, touch and goal. We don't really know. It's just whether if he's able to. He's fit, but I don't know if in terms of COVID, if he's going to be okay. Yeah. We've got home advantage, wet spam.
I've never heard that one.
I like that one. Mr. 200 himself, and me and T same this time. And just also before I give my prediction, just on that one quick fire question. No, not for me. Dembele because of injuries And Luke de Jong, no way, you'd have to pay me to take him.
Is that the Luke de Jong that used to
that
play
played for Newcastle? Yeah,
Oh.
but he's done well in the Europa League. That's for Sevilla, but that's the Europa League. But I went for 2-0. I think West Ham will bounce back. And mainly because Southampton are a horrid side. They're shocking. And I think going forward, Southampton are poor. They don't have the quality in front of goal, even if you give them their players fit. Losing the likes of Danny Ings and Yannick Vestergaard has made them weak in both areas in attack and defence. So for me, I've gone with a straight West Ham win. I'm hoping, and I think I might actually catch some points on you here, Ed. At least if it's one, for the result, not correct score.
There's a lot of differences, I think, this week for the first time in a long time. I think
I'll be very surprised if it does end 0-0. I will be. I think West Ham could keep a clean sheet, but as you said, Arjen Bowen doing it there. Look, Luke de Jong, rubbish, exactly.
Yeah, he is.
So we've done the West Ham one. We'll go into the 5:30 kickoff at Villa Park, which is Aston Villa versus Chelsea. Ed, stats and figures for this one? Because I remember last season, Villa did actually beat Chelsea.
They did. In fact, last year, that's that win and a draw. I think there's some cup games there that are the losses.
Yeah, the Carabao Cup was a draw as well.
Yeah. So the last 5 meetings, we've got 3 losses for Villa, and a win and a draw in all of that. But like T's just said, there's some cup games and other things going on there. The form, believe it or not, Villa seem like they've got a better form at the moment. So 3 wins and 2 losses. Clearly, Gerrard's a bit up and down at the moment with his form and how he's getting the villains playing. Chelsea, again, like I've said before, they've got a lot of draws. 3 draws. One of those to the mighty Wolves in there when they moaned and tried to get the game called off with their Champions League winning players and World Cup winning players. And dear me, blah, blah, blah.
Don't listen to Chelsea. Yeah, they were the ones who were turning around saying, we've got 2 11s that could win the league.
Yeah, of course they have. They've got 97 players out on loan as well, don't forget.
True.
So their form is 3 draws, a win and a loss. And then for the Villa-Chelsea, the XG, Villa's is 1.11, Chelsea's is 1.74, and the average goals is going with that pretty much spot on, just under 3 goals at 2.79.
There you go. Big one there. So, in terms of injuries for Villa, they've not got anyone new as of yet. That's been out, but obviously it's undisclosed who's been affected by the pandemic at the moment. So we've got Nakamba who's out, Bertrand Traore, El Ghazi's a doubt, as well as Morgan Sanson. We've got Keenan Davis, Tereak Ray coming out there. Keenan Davis is a 50-50. Leon Bailey is also out, and Jed Steer, that's who we can confirm he's out with the virus. And for Chelsea, here we go. 50-50 touch and go, whether Romelu Lukaku will play. So Moss, I know this is directly for you in FPL. I wouldn't put Lukaku in my team. He's touch and go, as well as Callum Hudson-Odoi. Ruben Loftus-Cheek is more 75% being out. He's got a 25% chance of playing. Timo Werner, Kai Havertz, Ben Chilwell all out with the virus as well. Ben Chilwell was back in training, I know, so he may return sooner.
I think Chilwell was the dreaded, the reason. So yeah. I think he's waiting to test negative, and then he'll probably be back in the squad.
Yeah, exactly. And Hakim Ziyech is also 50-50. But guys in the chat, we'll get your predictions in. We're loving them, as you can see right here. Loving the interaction, TTF. Thank you for the questions, predictions, and keep everything coming. So what have we got in terms of predictions here? We've got Moss with a 2-2. We had Steve who went with a 1-1. Paxton, who's gone with a 3-1 to Chelsea. So we've got 2 draws and a win there. And then we've also got a Villa win. Oh, Villa side continues the win. So, and puts Chelsea's troubles deeper in the mud and allows us to catch them if predictions are right.
That was the question I was going to ask you, because we're very Gooner heavy at the minute in the chat.
Oh, come on.
Of the top 4 where you're currently in, I believe. Are you in the top 4?
We are 4th. Yeah.
Who are you aiming for in that top 3? Do you think Chelsea are catchable? Do you think if you aim for third, with the thought of this is the pessimistic Wolves fan in me, aim for third, and then if it all goes belly up, you can drop down to fourth. That's the way I would look at it. Do you think Chelsea are catchable right now with the rot they're in, with all of their injuries? Again, talking as a Wolves fan who's a little bit salty about the handball and all the other things that went on in that game and before the game. Do you think Chelsea are catchable right now?
Guys in the chat, let me know your thoughts. I will give my thoughts whilst you're getting it in. I don't think Chelsea are catchable. I don't think that third spot is attainable for Arsenal, Man United, or Spurs, in all honesty, because Chelsea are capable of going on a big run of games at home and away from home to go and do the job for me. I think that Chelsea can do that when they get their players back fit. They can just... Chelsea don't play the most attractive football. They just know how to defend. They can score a goal and lock it off for me. Yeah. So I think Chelsea... I don't think so, but let's see what the chat is saying so far.
I guess 6 points is a buffer and a half as well for them to have this dip in form as well. 6 points is a lot to catch up on.
Tuchel gone, going to be called, tying Tuchel by the end of the season. So I'm guessing he's saying that Tuchel's gone. I think he will be gone by the end of the season as well. The Chelsea fan, big up Anif, who's also been on this channel. Big up Anif, the Chelsea fan. Go follow him on Instagram, 532pod. And I think that Thomas Tuchel will be gone by the end of the season. And that's mainly because of how Chelsea act when they get in these situations. Paxton saying Arsenal won't get top 4. Shake my head. Paxton, I wish I could star this and keep this up until the end of the season like I do with Grace's no chance predictions. Steve, full stop. Chelsea too strong for Arsenal.
Arsenal really have hurt you two, haven't they?
Steve, they really have. Steve, we've been disappointed too many times. Yeah, we were the optimistic ones last season. Me and Steve, we were the toxic positive gooners that Moss and Wilf are. But yeah, he's gone for third. Lol, he's saying, yeah. He says enjoying watching the Arsenal. It's a possibility to catch Chelsea, but not very likely. I think that's probably the best, the most balanced answer that I see there. We've got KC in the chat. Big up yourself, KC. I've seen you in the comments, but it's actually nice to finally catch you on a stream. And so appreciate you for all the support that you've shown to the channel. What do you think of Jesse Lingard to Arsenal? Newcastle should chase him if no one else does. Too good to be on the bench. Ed, I'll let you answer this question first.
So I think Jesse Lingard at any sort of club, maybe outside the top 2, would be a great addition to the squad. I love his positivity. I love Jesse Lingard. I think he's great. I like his dancing. I like his personality. Why not be fun? I'm not a big fan of the people that can't stand him because he dances and other things. Yeah. Would he fit in at Arsenal? I don't know. Where's he going to play? Where's he going to play for me? Are we talking sort of the winger sort of Saka, Martinelli type positions, or are we talking sort of centre midfield? Nah,
he's more of a Smith Rowe though, isn't he? He's more of a Smith Rowe replacement, someone to add bolster into the squad. I mean, I don't think we need him, Casey, but if there was a loan option, I'd take it. Yeah. Like, why not bolster that position? Because especially if Aubameyang is leaving, well, if Aubameyang doesn't look like he'll be staying. So for me, I would take him as a squad depth option, but I don't think that makes sense for him to move to Arsenal, really. But Newcastle should chase him, definitely. He's better than Joe Willock. But Newcastle, it's an option for them. It would work. Jesse Lingard living up in Newcastle, he'd love it up there. So yeah,
he would. I think the Newcastle is, once January's done, they deserve a stream of their own. I think because what they do in the next 4 or 5 weeks is going to define, I think, a lot of things.
Yeah, there you go. And look at that English pragmatism, boring. Oh, hey, let's be honest. The North Americans do get very excited and they do always see the best. You got them rose-tinted glasses on, Moss. Johnny David talking about that. He's been scoring a few goals, but we need to get into our predictions. We've seen yours in the chat. Let's talk about ours quickly. So Ed has followed most of the TTF has gone in a draw. So how come you don't think Chelsea will win this?
I just think they're in a bit of a slump at the minute, and I think Tuchel's too busy banging this "it's unfair" drum Lukaku's 50-50, but he seems to have come back more like the Man United Lukaku than the Inter Milan Lukaku.
Yeah.
And I just think that the Villa home advantage potentially drags a draw out of this. I think a bit like, I think it was B&B, I think, who said out of wanting it to happen rather than thinking it's going to be, or it might have been Steve, is that I just think maybe this one could be an interesting 1-1 where Villa play really well, and Chelsea are still affected by a lot of injuries, and they did not impress against Wolves the other day. And you could argue that Villa and Wolves are very, very similar in their squad.
Oof, look at that.
That's a big one, though.
That is a big one. He says, I think win for Chelsea. Thomas Tuchel will fire them up 4-1. Yeah. You've gone big on that one. Casey, if you get that one, you deserve the biggest shout out ever.
The thing is, though, this is why we love football, isn't it? Because I can see that happening too.
Yeah.
You can see a Chelsea team just turning up and going, hang on, let's remember who we are.
Villa are decent, no wonder Steven Gerrard.
They are.
They have looked very defensively solid. They rolled up to Anfield, only lost by a penalty. So it would be a surprise, but I could see anything happening in football, so nothing will surprise me. But I've gone with the 2-1 Chelsea win. I think they'll pick it back up. They beat Brentford, and for a side like Chelsea, they just need to pick victories, and then they'll get that winning momentum. It's all about mentality for me. The players have the quality, and they'll do it. I think Chelsea are better without a striker anyway, without a recognised forward. I think that's how they perform a lot better under Thomas Tuchel. So I just think they'll be fine. They'll be fine. And also another reason why I think Villa will have players that will be surprised that will be out. Due to the pandemic, due to C-19 at the moment. So that's why I've gone with Chelsea win. And let's go into our next game now, which is Brighton. Apologies, Crystal Palace fans, who are playing Brentford at the Amex Stadium. Ed, hit us with the facts and figures for this one.
So for Brighton and Brentford, we've got, for once, a Brentford form guide, which makes somewhat sense because they have played in the recent history. Last 5 meetings, we've got 2 wins for Brighton, a draw twice, and 1 win for Brentford. Brighton's form is not great, which is why the next coming of whatever manager that everyone thought Graham Potter was going to be is getting booed at the moment. 3 draws and 2 losses. And Brentford's form is very much on the up with 2 wins, 2 draws and a loss. And also they did obviously lose midweek, but that's not in there. So for the XG for, I can say Brighton because there's no Crystal Palace fans in the chat this time. So Brighton, it's 1.51, which I think is quite generous considering they only seem to score nil Morpie screamers in the last few minutes. Brentford's is 1.13 and the average goals is going very much with that and expecting just over 2 goals a game for the game in 2.38.
There we go. And I was just looking at the chat there while Ed was reading. Paxton and Moss are going at each other. This is what I expected with the TTF.
I was going to bring that up though when I think Moss said that the players' careers end. I think Sanchez's definitely did, but I think RVP did quite well when he left.
Who?
Again, I don't want to upset you and Steve anymore because I think you guys are on the edge with this with Arsenal anyway. So.
Tell me about it. But yeah, in terms of Brighton and Brentford injuries, thankfully it's nice and easy for me to locate. With Brighton, they have a lot of players that are out that could be out of this game. So the ones that are confirmed is Lewis Dunk, Stephen Alzate, Neil Morpie, Pascal Gross, Jurgen Locadia, Jason Steele, and Jeremy Sarmiento. And then the players that, Yves Bissouma is also out with a suspension, and so is Shane Duffy. So I forgot about those as well. So the injury list for Brighton's pretty mad, and I wish I could change my prediction, but I'm not. I'm going to stick with it. Adam Webster is also a doubt, as well as Danny Welbeck and Neil Morpie. He's out with and with what it is, but who knows if he might come back. And then for Brentford, their injury list is not much better, but it's better. They've got Christopher Agera, David Raya, Charlie Good, Julien Janvier, and then Josh Da Silva and Zanka being touch and goal whether he will play. So in terms, actually, that's where there's my prediction. There we go. I put a duplicate slide in. But guys, let me know your predictions in the chat. I will give mine first, and then we'll go to Ed's, then yours. I think Brighton are going to win this. I think this is where they may pick it back up. And I heard you say something about Graham Potter at the start of that. My boy.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't quite get where all this ridiculousness is from.
There we go.
But Brighton need to remember who they are, I think, at some point as well. And the fact that they're an established Premier League team, or touch and go, whether they are, based on the fact that they've got one striker, a broken Danny Welbeck. Is he still there? He is there, isn't he?
He is still there.
Yeah.
So, be careful. I know Wilf, he'll be watching this later. He loves Danny Welbeck.
Certainly. Well, I do.
True. I know you do. Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, I think you have to at some point remember and be realistic as a fan. And I think Brighton, for them to be booing Graham Potter and to be upset is, I think you're becoming victims of your own success if you start to get ahead of yourself too quickly.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I see where you're coming from. And big up Sato in the chat as well. I know the feeling, and it definitely does.
Yeah, it does.
But in terms of predictions, Ed, you've explained there why you think Brighton are going to go and take it, didn't you?
Yeah. I see them nicking it. I think there's similar injuries to both teams, and I of the two managers, it's a close call. They're both very progressive, good managers, but I'm backing Potter to get his team to 3 points.
Basically, that's what we're seeing. We're seeing draws so far with Paxton and Moss, but PM, Mr. 200 himself, got 1-0. He's gone for the 1-0 home advantage. So agreeing with us that Brighton will win, but we've got another draw right here. So I think it's what it's looking like. But then we've got B&B.
But Casey's gone for a 1-1 down here as well.
Oh, okay, I didn't see that one.
Yeah.
Second the banter comment, great channel and content and good positive chat. I found you through to Tom C's channel, listening from the USA. Big up yourself, Casey.
What part? Is it Kansas?
Yes, let us know. Is it Kansas City? Because that's my NFL team. Thanks to Moss, he acquired it for me. Paddy Mahomes, Tyreek the Freak. Thanks, Moss. But yeah, appreciate that, and appreciate you all in the chat for liking.
That hurts me, Paxton. I love Danny Welbeck. Oh, that hurts.
I can't say that. Hey, Danny Welbeck went to Old Trafford and celebrated and scored a goal. That's why he's hurting. Be careful. He's talking in a sensitive topic with Paxton right there. Hey, look at that. He's nice to see. Casey, you a Chiefs fan then? Hey, we're going to need to wait and see. We'll find out, Casey. Let us know, please. We've got the chat on edge and myself. But shall we move on into the next game? And that is the final game, which isn't on Boxing Day, but it is on Monday. Yes, it is on Monday, the 27th. Newcastle versus Manchester United, 8 o'clock kickoff in the UK. So what's that? About 4 o'clock? Is it? No, 2 o'clock kickoff for you, Moss. So yeah, let me know what the stats and figures are for this matchup.
Yeah, so for Newcastle Man United, it's in that Christmas period that no one knows what day it is. The last 5 meetings, Newcastle, mostly under Steve Bruce, who kind of bowed down to the Man United powers that be and let them do what they will with him. 4 losses, and they did pick up a win. The form for Newcastle, for the team, is 3 losses, a win and a draw. Man United is looking a lot better again than what it was when Ollie was at the wheel, with 3 wins and 2 draws in there. XG for me, interesting. Despite all of that, there's not much in it between the XGs. So Newcastle's 1.02, Man United is 1.45. But similarly to the Man City game, I think where this was, the average goals is very much going against what the XG is saying. And the XGs are expecting 3 goals in this game. The average goals are expecting 3 goals in this game, whereas the XG is pointing more towards a 1-1, which
There we go. And in terms of injuries and suspensions for the both sides, so we got with Newcastle, Isaac Hayden suspended, Javier Manquillo's a doubt, Federico Fernandez is also out. And is that, do you know Jamal Lessiez? Is that Jamal Lascelles?
Yeah.
Okay,
Just a typo.
That's all right. And Paul Dummett is also out. And touch and goal, whether their midfield maestro, John Joe Shelby, will play. For Man United, what we do know is Paul Pogba is out, as well as his French international teammate, Anthony Martial. Aaron Wan-Bissaka is a doubt, as well as Victor Lindelof, Rafael Varane, Edinson Cavani, and Juan Mata. So we may see one of those play, but I wouldn't expect to see all of them. So, TTF, get your predictions in. But before we do that,
it's Texas.
Big up yourself, Casey. How are Texas doing, Ed?
What do you mean?
In the NFL?
The tight Texas. Yeah. I don't know. And NFL's lost on me these days. I'm not. I'm interested in those NBA team. Is it Mavericks, San Antonio? What are you? There's a few down there.
Houston, Rockets. Yeah, true. Big state, and bigger than this country. That state alone. So yes, we've got Paxton. He's gone with a 2-0 Manchester United win.
Ronaldo.
Newcastle in big trouble, so he's gone with a 2-1 to United as well. Ralph slowly working his magic, still needing sign and sell players. Give him time. Newcastle need to spend, ain't that right, Moss? And then we got 2-1 Newcastle, just in memory of Ollie at the wheel.
I don't know if we should take that as a real suggestion.
B, I hope you're right, man. I'd be so happy. Yeah. Oh, man. And Houston Dynamo, that's the football team, the MLS team. Moss, have you got your prediction in the chat? Get your prediction in the chat, Moss, and then we'll give ours whilst we wait for yours. Me and Ed, we both went for a Man United win. Ed's gone with 3-1. Why do you see them conceding a goal to Newcastle?
I see Shelby scoring another screamer or something like that. That's all I see. It's a bit of a pot shot. I'm expecting them to just pop one in. And also, I still don't 100% trust Man United's defence. So I think there's a few difference makers in that Newcastle team.
Wilson
that could get something. So
true. Wilson's a very good striker. He'd easily walk into any tide, I think, in the top six.
I need this to come because I keep saying that Newcastle are going to get out of it. So I need this to come true. B&B. That's definitely one for me. I feel like I'm dying on that hill right now, and I wish I hadn't.
I know, tell me about it. Yeah, I jumped off the ship early.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, I said everybody. We did a grading video where everybody was saying, Newcastle to stay up, which was, even at the time it was quite controversial. But there was more time. But hey, I think they lost like 2 games after that, and I was like, I'm gone. They're not staying up. They're gone. But look, PM, I always call him Manure as well. Don't worry. We've got TGM, who's gone 2-1 Manchester United.
And dropping some facts about Texas down there.
I didn't even realise that Texas used to be an independent nation. I didn't know that. Madness. Did you know that, Ed?
No, I did not.
Nah. Crazy. A Toon Army 1, a 2-1. There's another one. He's gone Ronaldo and Greenwood. Greenwood, Paxton, what's your thoughts on this? And Man United fans, Greenwood being linked to Arsenal this week?
Is he really?
Yeah, it was one of them. Basically, it's one of them publications that aren't based in the UK and they don't even speak English, and they're linking to us.
So it's crap then.
Yeah.
Basically, fair enough.
It's a publication that's not even based in the UK. So that says it all. And they're talking about a transfer between a British player to 2. Yeah. So, crazy.
Yeah. That sounds more like a FIFA signing than a real life signing.
Oh, man, look, Mason Greenwood with our young project. It'd be amazing. You know my thoughts on Greenwood already.
Yeah.
So that right there ends our predictions, people. That is our predictions. However, it's not the final part of the show. Because the final part of the show, which I forgot to do last time, was the prediction table. Guys, there's been some updates and some changes in points, but that's about it. So here's the prediction table. Edmin himself still sitting pretty at the top. A bit of a squeaky bum time.
Yeah, TTF, we obviously missed the heavily affected week.
Yeah.
The week before, the TTF got 2 bang on right. So they grabbed, I think, 2 extra points. So they're closing the gap. You're not. But
No. That's what I was about to say. On the bright side, at least you're catching head up. But on the dark side, it looks like I'm doing a forfeit TTF. Big up yourself, DMC Harper, going for a 1-1 draw here. Who do you support, DMC? And thank you for coming into the channel. And hey, leave a like as well if you're brand new, and subscribe. But big up yourself, DMC. Let us know. The TTF will welcome you. And know how. What does Ed get for coming first? He gets a prize by me, and it's a decent one. I haven't thought of it yet. Do you know what? We should probably spend. Should we probably talk about now? What do you get, Ed? What should we get each other? That we could both do. Any suggestions in the chat?
Yeah, TTF, get in the chat. For me, know how. I'd just like him to let me speak on, ask me some questions about 90s football for an hour. So I'd be happy with that, to be fair. But we got another Gooner in the chat.
Yeah, big up DMC. Love that.
Make sure you like and subscribe.
There you go. Hey, I like him already, or her, him or her. Big up yourself, DMC. Love always. Yup, Steve, the Alamo hole they're talking about. Steve,
we're on history now.
We're on History Channel. Teach what you started.
Tereak talks history now.
There we go. But yes. So in terms of suggestions, please chuck them in. DMC, let us know. What do you think the winner should get? And if you are brand new, if you've not seen any of these, so Edmin, who's sitting pretty at the top, whoever wins at the end of the season, say if I come second or last, it doesn't matter. I have to gift Edmin a prize, or vice versa. If something happens, if TTF wins, you guys get a massive giveaway. And I'm saying it, the prize is going to be worth it. Trust me. So stay locked in, and we'll see. But also,
get your thinking caps on as well. We'll agree in January. Maybe let's have Christmas to talk about it.
The final thing is whoever finishes bottom, which is me at the moment, has to do a forfeit chosen by one of us. And you guys get in there, throw your suggestions, because we're relying on you here, TTF, your creative minds. We bring you the content, you bring us the forfeits and prizes. So yes, people, thank you once again. Like, share, as Edmund's put it up right there. Like, share, and let's get Tereak Talks to 300 subscribers. And do you know what? I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone now in the TTF, because Ed, you've done a massive job as well. Thank you so much for all the help that you do on these shows, Ed.
No problems. I love it.
It's been wonderful. How long have I been doing this for now? August to December?
Yeah. We're into, 4 months now, is it?
Yeah, 4 months, and I'm loving every single day of it. Honestly, there's not a time where I don't have this not on my mind. I've had sleepless nights thinking about what content to do. I've not even scratched the surface, and it's all because of everyone who's watching, all of you guys in the chat who show your support. What's your next sub goal, and by when? Ed, you came up with the sub goal. See you later, Mom. You came up with the sub goal for the 250 by Christmas. 300 is the next number. You decide when. Give me a time frame.
300 by my birthday. Let's go February.
February. Okay, 300. So
it's a lot to do. But
it's a lot to do. 250. I was on 200 a month ago.
Yeah.
So 250 was very good. Hey guys, but this is all you. I think T should have to grow his hair. Might have to do that anyway without a forfeit. Who knows? Thank you, gents. We'll definitely follow you guys. Big up, great show. Thank you very much, DMC, and all love to anyone, whether you've been here since the start, whether you've just come in. Hey, this is the start. We haven't even scratched the surface on what we want to do. Me, myself, Ed, and you guys, and getting all you guys interacting with the channel. I want to see you guys in the channel as well. I want to have interactions with you, watch football, talk about football. You're all welcome. This is your channel just as much. Well, it's more your channel than it is mine, because I'm making content for you guys. And do you know what? Thank you very much, everyone. And I hope that you all have a Merry Christmas. That's our phrase now. It will stick with us forever. Thank you, Moss. You've made that. It's a TTF little do. Merry Christmas to you all. Hey, it's not Christmas, it's Christmas. All right, it's Christmas. Merry Christmas to you all, and we'll catch you on Boxing Day for one of the games. I haven't decided which one yet, because I was going to do Liverpool Leeds actually. So, well, stay tuned to the channel. You'll see. But I will put something out on Boxing Day for sure.
There's a long way to go yet. There might be more games called off.
That's true. There's the can't, but yeah, it's very true. Good point there, Red.
It's not counting in chickens. It's not counting in chickens.
Exactly. So love to you all once again. Have a Merry Christmas, and I'll catch you guys soon. Love and peace.